Oh, we got, all right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday from all over the United States and Austria. Michael's with us as well, Liza and myself, Julene. So we're looking forward today. It's very exciting. Michael Opitz has been with one of our winemakers for over 15 years. We have a great selection of wines from him. For all of you joining us across the United States, some of you have the dry pack, some of you have the sweet pack, some of you have Lisa and I have both too. So Michael's going to talk us through each wine. He's going to tell you about Austria's place in the wine world and what's amazingly special about his wine. So we'll get started.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we hope you already chilled all of your sweet wines and then, of course, opened all your dry reds for those who are having both. We're going to get started with the Blaufränkisch. This grape is always such an interesting name, and I'll never forget the first time I was in Austria. I was at a little restaurant in Vienna, and you ordered the wine according to the glass because it was a Riedel glass restaurant, and that was the first time I ever had Blaufränkisch. So anyway, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Michael, but Viertelach. How do you pronounce that? Anyway, could you tell us a little bit about this one? We're going to taste a little bit of that one. We're going to cheers to you and cheers to all of you. And we're going to learn more about the Blaufränkisch and what makes it so unique. Thank you, Michael. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the possibility to present my wines personally. That's always a great thing to present the wines to the people. So most of you know me. I'm Mike from Austria. We have a small winery in the east of Austria. We work organically, and yeah, it's quite a nice selection we go through today. And we start with the Blaufränkisch Reserve Ried Vierteljoch. Well, there are many names now in it, German names. And the Blaufränkisch, that's the variety. Basically, you can translate it with blue or red Franconian. So it's actually original Austrian variety. So it's originally from the area of southern Austria, eastern Hungary, northern Slovenia. There, nobody knows where exactly it is from, but somewhere there it's originated. But anyways, back in the day, this was all one country. So let's say it's a Central European variety. It gives you a little bit spicier wines, deep wines with dark berries from the forest berries. But in our area here in the east of Austria, there's a big lake. Not big lake in Alaska, but a big lake in the east of Austria. It's called Neusiedlersee. It's just on the border to Hungary. There we are situated. We are at the beginning of the mid-European lowlands, this Pannonian Basin, and also at the beginning of the Alps, which are just on the other side of the lakes starting. Well, in our area, the Blaufränkisch gets very smooth. So it's very nice, smooth, fruit-driven, very elegant. Wines are always like the wine grower. And it's... Don't think so? And it's fruit. Cheers. So it's aged in oak. We use here French oak barrels, but it's not too heavily aged. So I use my barrels very long. So it's maybe, more than 10 years that I use my barrels sometimes. And so it's maybe like 10-15% of the barrels that I exchange per year. So that's about the variety. And the second thing is the reserve. So in Austria, if something is called a reserve, it means that it needs some aging and a certain amount of ripeness. So it has to have 13% of alcohol and at least 1.5 years before this, or 2 years before it is released. That's about the reserve. Don't get me with numbers. I'm more the farmer and grower than the guy who knows exactly the numbers when it can be released. Anyways, I'm long afterwards when I release them.
Sorry, I was just going to say the heritage of Blaufränkisch, was that Pinot Noir? You said Blue French, but is that Pinot Noir the heritage?
No, actually, I know you guys. For you, it's a little bit like a Pinot Noir. And of course, if I compare it to, we will have the Merlot afterwards. If I compare it with other red grape varieties, especially ones which are grown more thousand. Of course, it's more um, more like a Pinot Noir. But actually, I don't even know exactly the routes of it. It's some natural crossing, so it was not something breeded, but something. It's some old varieties. I think it's if it's a. To be honest, I would have to look it up now, but it's very old varieties that are the origin of the Blaufränkisch. But of course, you're right from the characteristics. It reminds you.
It's a nice
And then on the label, there's one more word on the label, the Riedvierteljoch, and that's the area where the vineyard is. So in Austria and in Germany, we have this Lagen or Riede. This is an area of the vineyard, and this is actually the best plots we have for the Blaufränkisch. We have two small plots there, and a little bit richer soil than the others we have. All the soil in our area, it's sediment, so it's gravel, sandy loam, so more light soil, which brings this elegant fruity wines. And for the Blaufränkisch, it's a little bit more fertile soil, which is still with the good drainage. And always when we tasted the different Blaufränkisch from the different plots and different areas, this one was the best. So there was one point in time we said, hey, come on, why not make this one a single vineyard wine? And so how it developed. I mean, if you want, I can also tell you where the name comes from, the Vierteljoch. So actually, it's one of the oldest areas or wine growing sites in our village. The village is called Opitz, and it's just beside the village. And the joch was an old aerial measurement. So it was like one joch. It's more or less like 1 acre, a little bit less than 1 acre, which nowadays it's just used by farmers anymore. If you talk to somebody on the street about the joch, he will just ask you what the fuck you're talking about. What's that? So, but still, people use it in the rural areas, the farmers, and to give an imagine, this were small parcels beside the village. So because Viertel means a quarter, so it was a quarter of a yoke. So it was like one parcel back then was a quarter of an acre, which is super tiny. Nowadays, fortunately, it's bigger plots. So we have, the people have exchanged and gotten bigger plots. We've bought some plots, exchanged some plots. So now we have like half an hectare there, which is already big for the area there, but still it's not big. So
I think it's so great because I don't know about you, Julene, but every time I do one of these, I learn something new.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're like, we've known you for so long and we hear the different stories, at different times. And yet just learning about Virta means a quarter and Loch means, beside the village and all of that's so interesting, and just really quick, I know you have something you want to say too, but seeing everybody chatting, chatting is really fun. Elise is, responding to everybody. And one of the chats that we had was from Galen and Deb Preston, who, when I started 24 years ago, both of us have been here doing this 24 years. Oh my
Liza
gosh.
and I have.
But they've been an Austrian wine lover.
you must have pretty young when you start.
What's that?
Then you must have pretty young because when you started,
Yeah,
I'm
now
a drinker.
it's the wine. It makes keeps you young. So we've had. This is why we look like this. So, all right. Well, let's pop over to. So we're going to go back and forth between the sweet kits and the dry kits. And like again, for those of you who have both, you're the lucky ones. You get to do twice as much. So we're going to pop over here to Buddy Talk from Michael. So Michael makes such a great variety of wines for us, which is the beauty of it, which we have represented here. I mean, we have those wonderful dry reds from him that we just had, and then we also have some beautiful dry whites. We also have fruity whites and reds and dessert wines. So he really has the whole gamut of wines that he offers to us. So now we're going to chat about the Buddy Talk. Oh, let me pour some for us.
Yeah, I'm thirsty.
Yeah, girl.
So some of you maybe had already some other Body Talk wines. So the Body Talk wines are a line for me. These are nice, easy drinking wines that you share with friends, having a good time, having a good chat. That's why it's called Body Talk. So it's a blend of two varieties, which are also typical for Austria or our area. The Welsh Riesling, it's also an Austrian or Central European variety. It has nothing to do actually with the Rhine Riesling, with the German Riesling. in Italy, it's sometimes it's even called Italian Riesling, Riesling Italico. It's called in Italy, because it's also from this northern Italian, Austrian area over there, or down there from my point of view now. That's the Welsh Riesling. Uh, it's a variety. You can make a lot of things out of it. I mean, you can make a very crisp, dry wine, light summer wine of it. You can. Once I had a reserve when you age it in oak. Excellent. You keep it very long. But for me, I think the best thing of the Welsh Riesling is when you really do a dessert wine or late harvest wine out of it. I mean that the way grape is perfectly out of it for that. I mean I made Bernauslese, and here we have a Spätlese. So Germans and Austrians are geniuses when it comes to marketing. Um, that's why we have these long words like Bernauslese, Spätlese, and whatever. And I was not thinking about other German words, but I don't want to bother you with them. And so it's a Spätlese, and we have this like a pyramid with the quality or the this. I don't want to call it quality pyramid. It's more or less a pyramid of ripeness. The riper you get, so you have the
way
you
I
have the let's say reserve wines or pardon?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. We were just going to describe it a little bit like this pyramid, like you said, is not a matter of quality. It's really a matter of differences in styles and distinctions in styles and all of that kind of stuff, right? Because a cabinet is a little bit lighter, but this is still a quality wine, where Spätlese and Auslese, and then as we get into the dessert wine, it's just a difference in production and style, really.
Absolutely, and that's also the thing which makes us genius in marketing, because even Austrians or even some wine growers don't get this system, because it's super complicated, and a lot of numbers and limits where you're in. But let's say the start for these dessert wines, for this in German it's called Prädikatsweine. It's the Spätlese, and when you do this Prädikatsweine, I will tell you afterwards what you have to do to get this label. So the first step of this is the Spätlese, which you typically harvest. You have like the grapes for a crisp, let's say Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris. Then you harvest later on, or a crisp Sauvignon Blanc. Then later on you harvest, a bold Chardonnay, creamy, more creamy Chardonnay. The grapes already get yellow at this point, but then you go further on. You let them on the in the vineyard more time, and then you get this really ripe grapes. They taste so nice, so full and rich, and then you harvest the Spätlese, and so you get a wine with a nice sweetness, fruitiness already, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
This is really a very nice wine style, and I do it here not only with the Welsh Riesling but also with the Gewürztraminer. Gewürztraminer, of course, originally it's not from our area, from Southern Europe, but it's already very long grown in our area. For example, I have pictures from my grandparents when they were I think it must be from the late 70s or back in the 80s. The picture when they were waiting actually for a late harvest or an Auslese on Gewürztraminer, and they were outside in the vineyards with snow on the Traminer grapes. Wow. That's I have to send you the picture one day.
Yeah.
And that you see that. And so it's something, what I want to say, it's something like already back in the days, since long, the Gewürztraminer and the Traminer is growing in our area. So, I mean, what's then nearer than to make a blend out of this Welsh Riesling and this Gewürztraminer. So you get from the Welsh Riesling the nice ripeness, you get the crispness, you get the acidity from it, but also this typical more fruity notes and these floral notes you find in this wine. That's from the Gewürztraminer. You get some roses and all this stuff in it. So it's a perfect combination.
So a real quick question, somebody's asking in the chat, is it aged in oak or not in oak? Because she feels like there's a little hint of oakiness.
No, in this one not. In this one, it's just the ripeness. And you know what? Sometimes when you have ripeness, it can give you a sensation as if it would be aged in oak. And I think this comes from especially from Chardonnays, because sometimes people or sometimes really ripe Chardonnays are presented that they are oak, but sometimes this rich flavor it's not from the oak, just from the ripeness. And that's what's happening here too, especially from the Welsh Riesling.
Yeah, is
So,
that
because when you have a wine in oak, normally it's a ripe wine, and so sometimes it's really difficult to distinguish is it ripeness or oak.
Do you taste it in the buddy
But in
shop?
this case,
I could see where maybe because the skin of it has more influence because there's been more contact with the pulp, and so
Yeah.
maybe that's where, even though it's not left in very long, it just gives it that kind
Yes,
of
that's what I would think too.
flavor. That's what I'm
Oh,
thinking.
yeah, can associate the
yeah.
skin taste with the oak taste sometimes too, and I think that's what Michael's talking about.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it gives you the sensation as if it would be in oak, but it's not, because it's this ripeness that reminds the ripeness that reminds you of the oak flavor.
Yeah, and that's good because, some people don't care for oak in their white wines and some people do, but if you, I have people who actually feel like they're allergic to oak sometimes. And so it's good to know that one's just done in stainless steel. So since we, are, I think we've, we could talk about all the wines,
Yeah.
for a lot longer, but we have a lot of wines to get through. Let's move to the Lakeside Merlot. When I visited you with the clients, oh my gosh, do you know that I was looking up the pictures? That was already, no, I can't remember, 2017 or 18. I can't remember. It was so long ago. Where did the time go? But
It was actually, it's already a couple of years ago. It was pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was.
Sure,
It was. And so what's so fascinating, and maybe Lisa can put the picture up, that you can see some vineyards are located right next to the lake, which maybe you can explain how that affects the ripeness of the grape itself and the minerality and all the uniqueness that comes from having vines right there on the lakeside, please. And don't forget to pour yourself some wine.
So our area, absolutely. So our area, as I've said before, it's a very, very, very special area. We are actually at you can say on the beginning of everything. So that's a typical picture. That's absolutely what's it like. It's this flatlands. You see in the back. You see this small hut. This was back in the days from I can just say from the cowboys with the kettles. They used those, and the tree you see beside that was actually a well, and it was these funny wells where I could with some arm take the water up. So this is something from back in the days, and what you see here, it's not actually the big lake, but it's not the noisy lake, but it's some of these small soda ponds or saline ponds. And of course, those are all over in the landscape. So remember, maybe I'm sure you've heard about grapes growing in California when they have wildfires beside the grapes, and in some years they couldn't use the grapes because the grapes did take the taste of the fire, and they had a smoke taint and couldn't be used. And now close your eyes and think you're on either on a beach with salty water or on some lakes, and take this smell and imagine this smell. And here you have absolutely the picture, the vineyard just beside one of these ponds. And of course, I'm sure that all the grape take all this the smells and this environmental conditions that are around, and that's what they bring to the glass, the grapes. And this is the one point of this saltiness that you get in the grapes, and this salty minerality. It's the area. It's all sediments. So the soil, it's from sediments, from fluvial sediments. So back in the days, the old Danube was running there some thousands of years ago, and so it's gravel and sand. And that brings this this salty minerality into the wines. And also, as I have already said before, the fruitiness. So the speciality of a Merlot from our area, it's elegant, it's fruit driven, it's ripe, and still very light fruit. Despite it has like 14% of alcohol, it's a light fruit, and aged in big barrels and small barrels. So that's the perfect thing for this Merlot. Not a bold, heavy thing, but an elegant, fruit-driven Merlot representing this area. That's why it's. I mean, what's nearer than calling it lakeside, because it's from there and it's representing all this together, and that's it. I mean,
Yeah,
that makes it
the berries.
a great wine.
Yeah,
This is a beautiful
Yeah,
wine, yes.
yeah.
Love it.
The berries, it's almost like boysenberry in a way, or brambleberry or whatever, because you have all this rich berry, but then this a little hint of minerality. And sorry, we were just drinking it while Michael was talking. We have to refresh our taste buds.
Excellent. You have this hint of minerality and the fruitiness and the just a tiny little bit of an oak in it. Like when I worked with oak, I always compare it with good makeup or good perfume. I mean, good makeup, it's there, but it's not like, oh, on the first sight you see there's makeup or there's a perfume. It's just part of the beautiness, and that's how I like to work with the oak in the wine.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, it's so interesting because a lot of times winemakers are like, oh no, it's got to be on this hillside and it's got to really strive and dig deep for moisture and all of that, but yet this is grown right on the lakeside, and it has all of those wonderful elements. It's not like he's saturated with fruit, you have other characteristics too. And I love the idea that it's in the larger barrel, so the oak isn't so in your face.
Overpowering.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wow.
And Lisa, I mean, you have been in our area. If you compare it to other wine growing areas, let's say it's in Mosul or wherever, you're on the hill, on the hillside somewhere, and we are not. I mean, you've seen the pictures where we are, and that makes it so fantastic, our area, and that makes it so special.
Yeah.
And great doing wines there. It's an honor doing wines in this area.
Yes, I will say definitely the taste of the Lakeside Merlot is very different than your other traditional Merlot that we have. You can really tell the difference, and that has everything to do with Lakeside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's pop over now to our sweet wine kit collection. So the next one we're going to pour is going to be on the fruity red side. This is going to be this Weigout Rooster Super Fruity Blend from Michael. Let's hear about this one. What makes it so special?
Okay. Sorry, it was such a nice picture. Can you re-put the picture, because then I can.
Which
The
one?
picture you had?
Which one?
The
The
one you
lake
had before.
or the field?
That one?
The last one.
Oh boy.
That one. Yes.
We got it.
Sorry for making you. Okay. No, not the next one.
The next one. Now she has to remember which one she had. No, the other one with the all the vineyards, and then the one patch.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
This one?
No, other direction.
Maybe it's delayed for him.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Oh well, if it doesn't work. No, it was this one exactly. I love this picture. It's so great because you see on the back side, you saw already the hills of the Alps. You saw the Lake Noisy, let's say, and behind the start of the Alps, and on the other side, it's this flatlands. That's why I love this picture, because it really shows that we are on the edge of the alpine area and of the lowlands, the flat areas.
Yeah, definitely.
It was just because I saw the picture. So now you have the super fruity edition and the roasted Zweigelt. And
Zweigelt Rösler blend.
the Zweigelt Rösler blend. I mean, I've told you before that we have this pyramid, and when you want to make a Spätlese or a Auslese, you have to, the day you harvest it, you have to go in the morning. You have to go you have to fill a paper. Then you have to go to the what's it, where the mayor is, to the
like the city hall
in English, where the mayor,
like the
town hall or city hall. You have to go there, bring this there, then it gets stamped. Then they call the wine inspector. That's really called like this, the wine inspector. And then in the afternoon, when you're ready with harvesting, you have to go there, and they weigh the kilograms of the grapes, and they take them they measure the degrees, and then when you have pressed them, they come again and they measure the liters and the final degradation, so that everything's official. And it's really still done by paper. Everybody is pissed that they don't digitize it. It's really still done with paper. Fortunately not with fax, but still with paper. So then you get a paper that this is approved as a dessert or as a Prädikatswein. And then before you release it as a Prädikatswein, then you have to send it to a commission who is tasting it, controlling it again, and then you can make it as a Prädikatswein.
Wow.
So then you can put Spätlese on it. But if you come to the crazy idea to plant such a, let's say, Auslese with a not Prädikatswein, with just like a reserve wine or just a normal wine, well, then you can't put this on the label, because you have done some funny blending, which normally people don't come to the idea to blend. So, but nevertheless, I made such a blend, which you have now, because I thought actually it's a very nice thing to combine, let's say, a reserve style Zweigelt, aged in oak, even in Newark, and combine it with the Auslese from Rösler. So a fruity one, Prädikatswein with a reserve wine. That's why I can't put Spätlese or Auslese or anything on it, because I did something which is not planned in the law, or which is, not on the map of an average wine inspector, that this could be done even. So
outside of the box.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
You're not following the rules
Yeah.
necessarily. You're being an artist.
I'm not breaking the rules. I'm
Right.
just making my own rules. Let's put it like this.
Not following them.
So I'm doing something creative that normally isn't done, because nobody comes to the idea to do that, because you either have this or that. I mean, the world is not white and black. There's always something in between. So why not? I mean, I can blend everything I want. Why not blend it an Auslese with the reserve? And that's what I did here. And that's and you get the absolute complex, nice, fruity wine.
Yeah.
And that's why I call it super fruity edition, because I can't call it Auslese or something. And that where the name come from. I did different variations of it, and that's the one with Rösler and Merlot. Zweigelt and Rösler you have here.
Are both sides of it aged in oak then? The Auslese side and the Zweigelt, I think, is the is the Rösler as well?
Yes, but there it's not the new oak. So it depends on the year. Both go to oak, but some parts of the wine go to new oak, but not all is new oak, because that would be too heavy. So
Yeah.
depending how I make which varieties I use for the super fruity edition, I sometimes even use crianza barrels, which are actually crianza barrels I use a lot in Spain, but it's American oak actually. So here I use this oak actually for the Rösler, and the Zweigelt was in traditional French oak, and a little bit was in Austrian oak too. So it's a mixture of everything.
Well,
So you get fruitiness, and the Rösler actually. The Rösler is a funny variety. It's by the way, it's Hans' favorite variety. I always have to mention that. He will love it. And it's an Austrian hybrid variety, so it's grown. We were among the first to plant this variety already 25 years ago. It gives you a very wild wine, a very nice acidity, so it's perfect for making sweet wines with those ones. And then you have, of course, the botrytis notes in it. Not very hard, not very intense, but you have it in it. Then you have a little bit of oak, and then you have the fruitiness of the Zweigelt, of this reserved Zweigelt, which is actually the Zweigelt. It's the one of the most, or it's the second most important variety of Austria. Like you have the Blaufränkisch and the Zweigelt. And the Zweigelt, it's named of a professor who was the breeder who did this variety, and the guy was called Fritz Zweigelt, and that where the name comes from. And so it's really a blend of just all Austrian varieties.
That's funny. Yeah, it's so fascinating, this particular wine, because, one of the comments that one of the clients made, you probably saw that in the note, is that this is a great gateway wine. And one of the things that we noticed too is that this is 12% alcohol.
I know 12% is kind of high to be called super fruity.
Yeah. So, but it's sweet to start with, but then a little bit drier in the finish. So if you're looking for a good wine that is kind of in that transitional mode for the sweet wine lover, who likes Spätlese and Auslese, but wants to drink something a little bit drier, this is not so bold dry that sweet wine lovers can't drink it. And how interesting that you have all these different harvest periods from this pyramid, I mean, like I said, it's totally an artist, because it's like you have this little bit of this, over here and over there, and then you put it all together and create this incredible.
This is really the beauty of, this is why we love Michael so much. You did something completely out of the box, completely, that probably, I can't even imagine anyone has done that, mixing an Auslese with this Zweigelt like that. This is so awesome, and learning this today is fascinating. This is so exciting, and I think it's great because
you said about this blending. Once a year, in mid of the year, you have, before harvest, you have to send to the I don't know, to this Amt or wherever you have to send your how many wine you have in stock, and then you also have to tell on which quality. So how much quality wine, how much Spätlese, Auslese, whatever. And if you make from one of these high up pyramid wines, this predicats wine, you make a quality wine, then you have to fill there that you have downgraded it. And once in such a control, I was talking to this inspector, to this wine inspector, and we were talking about this, and he said, but normally nobody is downgrading such a wine. You just downgrade it if it's really getting moldy or whatever, and you don't use it anymore. And I was just, don't wake up dogs who are sleeping. I was just, and I just said, no, normally you don't downgrade these wines. I frequently do it because I blend them with other wines in order to get something like this super fruity edition wines. And so you see with this story, it's out of their mind that somebody could even come to the idea to do such a blend.
And just to clarify, what he means by downgrading is that taking an Auslese, which
it's just on the paper. It's just
yeah, and then the Spätlese, that's actually lowering
it's taking away from what, like, they specialize in Spätlese, they specialize in Auslese. So the fact that you're putting them together, you're taking away from what they think is, like, the quality of, like, the Auslese by itself, the Spätlese, which they don't see that before. They don't understand why you would do that.
Exactly, but it makes the wine richer.
Exactly. They don't see why you would plan such things. I mean, there is like it's like it's they don't even come to to this idea.
I wonder, Michael, when you walk in there and they go, "Oh, there's Michael Opitz again. Who knows what he's going to give us this time?" Everybody updating their own notes, like Michael Opitz side, and then everybody else.
That's so true. That's true.
In Europe we have more people are more into soccer in Europe, and there it's this saying that to keep the ball flat. You have, I don't know if you get the saying, it's from soccer. If you don't play high balls, you just play the ball flat, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's this saying that to keep the ball flat. This means you always have to be under the radar and just be cool, and then all is fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, there's you.
Oh, I love that
take
picture.
it straight out of the barrel.
That's a great picture.
That is so much fun. I have a picture of us that I live. I don't know if Elisa has it or not, but when you and my client had dipped your glasses in the wine barrel and then drank right out, simultaneously. Anyway, it is such a cool picture. Yeah. And it was such fresh wine. It was like so dense. Purple. Yeah, it was amazing. Anyway, well, we should keep moving on, I guess, because we could talk for forever.
We're going to jump back over to the dry red.
Just let me know when I'm talking too much.
No. It's we talk a lot. So tell us about this particular free solo, which is the secret blend. The thing is that I think the word is out that it has Nebbiolo in it. Which, how did you decide to start growing Nebbiolo? Isn't this typically an Italian varietal?
Well, I mean, there's not too much to say about this wine. It's a secret brand, so I can't tell you more. Next wine.
Out of the box, out of the bag. So,
actually, it's a blend of Nebbiolo and Tannat, two varieties, which actually definitely not Austrian varieties, which are definitely not grown in Austria. Tannat, I know a handful guys who have it, and I came actually to the idea with the Tannat by my uncle. He's a big fan of Tannat, and he has some Tannat. This brought me to the idea, and also after I traveled to Uruguay, where I discovered it, really what you can do with this variety. So that brought me to the Tannat. It's a couple of years ago that I planted this. It's just 250 plants of Tannat and 250 plants of Nebbiolo. And when I did this, I thought, okay, let's not only do the Tannat, but also do some other European variety. And then I was looking what could fit, what could maybe be interesting, and then I came to the Nebbiolo. And it was quite funny when the nursery I'm working with in our village, when I asked them for this Nebbiolo and Tannat and for like a couple of hundred of plants, and at the end he said, "Hey, come on, Michael, it's crazy always when I'm calling them," because he imported the Nebbiolo and Tannat from France, because of course he didn't have them in the nursery, and he said they're always starting to laugh when he's calling them, "Hey, we need 250 Tannat or 250 Nebbiolo." I mean, it's the biggest nursery in the world, where he was calling to give me this couple of hundreds of plants.
Wow.
So it was very funny. I mean, there's one thing I had in mind when I was starting with the Nebbiolo. I mean, everybody is talking about climate chaos and how is everything changing, and how we maybe should change varieties, or how it would develop in future. So it's also a little bit of an experimental the Italian variety would do in our area, how it would grow, how it would be. And with having absolutely no experience with Nebbiolo, knowing nothing about it, not knowing how it would actually perform, I planted this little Nebbiolo, and actually it's doing. I mean, you taste it. It's a wonderful wine. It's really wonderful. It needs a lot of time to Nebbiolo. I mean, with a lot of time, I mean it really needs years of barrel aging before you can release it. And I was and at the beginning when you harvest them, they don't get really dark. The berries they get not really intense in color, and all the wine at the beginning, and the wine when you directly after pressing taste it. I mean, it's really very harsh and everything. It takes years, and then last year or this year, always when I meet people from Italy, from the Piedmont who are doing the Nebbiolo, I tell them, "Oh my God, I'm doing this Nebbiolo, and it's always like this and that." And they say, "Oh, you know." That's like that. That's Nebbiolo. You're doing everything right. And I was like, okay, it's not us. It's not the terroir, because I was thinking, hey, what we're doing wrong with this variety, but it's really behaving like this in Nebbiolo. It's really yeah, it's a trick. Let's say it's a tricky variety,
Yeah.
and we harvested very yeah.
I have a really quick question from one of the clients that's off. They want to know what the connection to the rock climbing is. You want to tell the story that, well, you're a rock climber.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's all.
I so the name Free Solo. I mean, maybe we have had this wine since a couple of years. I mean, later on, they named the movie after the wine. Maybe you've seen it, where they're climbing in Yosemite. So free solo climbing. I mean, it's something on the edge. I mean, it's guys who are doing that. They have it under control what they are doing, but it's still on the edge, and it's still something freaky and something not inside the box. And that's also what are my free solo wines. I have different wines which come with the free solo name. It's basically it's always blended. It's always from varieties you wouldn't plant normally, or you wouldn't grow in our area, and that's how it comes to the name Free Solo.
That's cool.
Actually, the tiny little guy on the label, that's actually me climbing,
Yeah.
and the
Great
and the
point.
label itself. And the label itself, it's an artwork from from a good friend of mine. So actually, it's a plant from our vineyards, which I'm climbing, and basically the outer part of the label, it's the iris. It's basically the iris you have on the other labels transformed from her to this artwork.
About when we do the dessert wine, you tell us a little bit about that, and then also why you have all the iris,
Yeah.
this whole series.
The story
Because
of
it's really cool.
Yeah.
We'll pop over to the dessert wine. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Michael, we'd love to hear about the iris and the whole story behind that. So the last wine is going to be dessert wine from Michael. This is going to be Chardonnay Pinot Blanc, Trockenbeerenau Liza. I do know what that is, and I can say it great, but I'll have Michael tell you about it.
Love that.
Trockenbeeren auslese. It's my favorite word. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
It's so genius, this word. It means, if you would translate it word by word, it would mean dry berry selection. But of course, the wine has nothing to do with dry, because it's the off driest wine you can get. I mean, that's the if you look at the pyramid, that's the Spitz, the top of the pyramid is the Trockenbeerenauslese. I would even say it's if you compare it to an ice wine, it's a different style. Because people often think that really the top is the ice wine, and I don't want to rate that the Trockenbeerenauslese is better or ice wine. It's just different. And the Trockenbeerenauslese is really harvested when this noble rot, what's it called, this botrytis, is fully over the grapes. So the grapes are just this. It's more or less after raisin. It's completely dried out grapes, and with this botrytis on it, and then you harvest them and press them. You have super low yields, and our area is really, a couple of years ago I would have said perfect for doing it, but it's very close to perfect, because the thing is, um, you can't do it every year. Uh, when I started, I had wine grower, I had the luck to almost do it every year, and I thought, oh, we can do it every year, but oh fucking, oh man, you can't do it every year, and because you need really the perfect conditions, and these conditions we have in our area. This means we have at the right time, at the ripeness, because due to the lowness, to the flatness, and due to the lakes we have, we get the right humidity to get fog and to get the botrytis to grow. And then normally, after some time, we get a nice period again. Then we get again sun in autumn, and we get this nice Indian summer with some wind and nice weather. And then this grapes which had this botrytis and this noble rot on it, they're drying out. That's why the name is dryberry. And then you can harvest them.
Yeah.
And then you get these nice wines. Last year we were just fucked because we got we didn't get any fog. It was too dry in autumn. We got the fog kicked in much too late. The fog kicked in December, so it was too late, too cold. Afterwards, it was some nice days. It dried out, but we couldn't reach the Bernauslese laser. Trocken Bernauslese was unreachable. There was just some little tiny spots where people could do it. I tried to make some Bernauslese. I just could make Auslese. And I harvested laced grapes, no kidding, the 29th of December. So just after Christmas, 1 years, I finished harvest last year. And so what I want to say is, it's really special to get these wines. You can't, even in our area, you can't do it each year with each variety. So it's something special, and it's always a high stakes game for us as a wine grower to do it. Because if you fail because of the weather conditions, then you get a product which is a different product, which still is great. You will have a great Auslese next year, but you can't do. But you don't succeed with the one you want to do. And it was not only for me; it was for the whole area, for all the wine growers. It's the same. For God thank, we have all the same. We have all the same gardens, the same weather, so it's the same for everybody. So what you have here in this year.
Yeah, definitely. Did you hear that? I said you have to be an artist and a gambler.
I didn't get
that. Sure.
Yeah, for doing those wines, you have a little bit is a gambling, because when I make the decision to do this, let's say I decide to let the grapes there, and I make this decision, let's say in September, beginning of October. I have no idea what the weather will be like in a month's time. I don't know it, simply. Nobody knows. You can just guess, and that's the gamble, which can, most of the years it's okay, but sometimes you're just fucked, and that's life. But in this year,
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, over the years, I mean, we've been doing this a long time. You've been a winemaker a long time, but I mean, the whole climate change and global climate change is probably. I mean, we get way less dessert wines than we used to. Remember when we started? We used to have so many ice wines and TBAs, MBAs, and now it's way less.
I mean, I think it's getting more and more tricky. It's getting more and more tricky because at least in our area, because weather is a kind of shifting back. So also winter starts later and lasts longer here. I mean, right now we have a warm period, but it's for sure getting cold again. So it's shifting all backwards, and also this period with the wet, foggy weather. So if it's getting too far in the back, it can be really tricky. And despite the thing that a lot of people are saying, harvest is early, and some years we are really getting back with the harvest. It's kind of weird. I love Jamie Good. He's actually a very good wine writer, and John's writing great books about wine and wine growing and everything. And he calls it not climate change. He says it's actually a climate chaos. And that's really nailing it down. What is happening? That it's more and more unpredictable and in this way more difficult for us. But back to the Trockenbeerenauslese, you have here that in that year it was perfect. I mean, what you have here, it's the perfect example for a nice white Trockenbeerenauslese.
Yeah.
Perfect grapes for it, Pinot Blanc, Chardonnay.
That's amazing.
Also, this Trockenbeeren, I aged them in oak. You have the honey, you have the creaminess, you have the a little bit of this botrytis style. Still, you smell this Chardonnay, a little bit of oak, like good makeup in it, and just awesome. I mean, just great.
Oh my gosh. Well, we could go on for hours and days and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's so fascinating to listen to you and I mean, obviously, you know, your passion and all of that. Just one other quick question about that, and then we're gonna talk about a few things, and then we're gonna do our after party. We'll explain all that. But one other thing about this, you know, this isn't something that people drink every day. So how long will they be able to keep this in their wine cellar, the Trockenbeerenauslese, if they wanted to get a case of it and hold on to it for a little while?
I mean, those are wines which are I don't want to say which are made forever, but for lasting forever, but they are really long lasting wines. So on both terms, if it comes to how long you can put them in the fridge, you can, if you just close them, put them to the fridge, they can stay there for weeks easily.
That's really
So
great.
that's no problem. If you open those wines and if you want to sip with it with your dessert for, let's say, the next 3 weekends or the next 2 weeks, but I'm sure it will be drunken faster.
There's a reason they have
because you will love it. And also when you buy the wine and when you keep it, it's really a wine you can keep for a very long time. Actually, here in Austria, it's a very nice tradition, or a lot of people do that when they get kids, or when wine grower when people get kids, that they then buy, wines from the vintage of the kids, from the birth year of the kids that they get, more or less mostly they buy them Trockenbeerenauslese for the kids to store them from their birth year, because they know those wines last that long, and you can have it for 18, 20 years. Okay, here it's drinking age, it's 16, over there maybe 21, but you can also keep it for the 21 years. And also a lot of wine growers who normally don't do this Trockenbeerenauslese or this dessert wines, say sometimes when they get kids or when they get grandkids, they do it exactly in those years. They do a Trockenbeerenauslese dedicated to their kids or grandkids or whatever. That's because wonderful. I know those wines are forever.
All right, Michael. Well, we are going to wrap up a little bit here and have our after party, but I want to thank you so much. Stay with us, of course, Michael, but thank you for joining.
That was one thing.
Thanks for your, what's that?
No, that just I still owe you the explanation of the iris.
Oh gosh, you're right. Yeah, okay. If you can do it like in a minute to 2 minutes.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, the iris. It's just short explanation. The iris, it should or it represents the uniqueness of each wine. Each wine is unique, and each iris is unique, and the color always matches the character of the wines. That's it.
I love it. That is so great.
Well, Michael, your passion, your knowledge, oh my gosh, is just beyond. You're just fascinating to listen to, and your passion just pours out while you're talking to us. You can just see it, like, just coming out of you. So thank you so much. Stay with us. We're going to have a Q&A afterwards live. Everybody can, if you want to join, raise your hand. And then the wines are if you're going to order some wines today, we are having a special with these. Everybody's going to get 10% off their case of wine. Mix and match, half and half, or 12s. And club members, we're offering you 20% off. Big savings there. So everybody's getting some wine today for a deal. And Lisa, do you have anything else to
Yeah.
say before we go into the after party?
Yeah, the other thing is that we have several of Michael's wines in inventory, but all just a little bit. We're waiting for the next shipment from him. So don't be afraid to order extra now. I mean, if you like it, get 2 to 3 cases. You're gonna be able to lay it down. You're gonna be able to keep it for a while. But don't think that, oh, well, I'll get a case of my favorite now and another one in a couple of months. Just get a couple of cases of each of your favorite now, and we'll come over and help you drink it if you need it. So we're
Exactly.
always-
And one more point I want to make about the Trockenbeer and Auschle is that, you know, like Lisa said, we don't get these dessert wines anymore like we used to. I mean, we used to always have them in stock. We
Yeah.
have literally maybe 2 dessert wines, and we've had 2 for the last several years. So, as Michael said, and these are just really unique and special. If this is something you love, definitely get some. First of all, you're getting it on sale today. For a discount, excuse me, and then you can lay them down for a very long time. So this is something you can enjoy over, you know, a long time. You know, drink it fast if you want to, though. We do love that, but you can hang on to them for quite a while and just pull them out whenever you like to. So definitely recommend that.
Cheers, everybody. We're gonna have a official tasting. We're gonna have an after party here in just a few seconds.
Yes, please
So,
be on with us,
Thanks, everybody. You know, many of you have been very loyal and regular virtual virtual tasting attendees, and we really appreciate it. Many of you have been around even longer than we have, which is amazing. Anyway, but cheers to all of you, because without all of our clients, we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.